In 2373, the Gamma Quadrant Alliance, known as the Dominion, officially declared war on the Federation. The next 2 years were some of the most bloody in Starfleet's history. Fleets of ships were sent and lost in the hope to hold the Alpha Quadrant from a Dominion invasion. While they had allies, most races agreed the Dominion were a force to be stopped. And so the Alpha and Beta Quadrants began the Dominion War. While the war was fought over large-scale encounters, the Dominion were equally interested in small victories over the Federation. Their construction facilities could build ships in weeks, while Starfleet ships took years. Each vessel lost brought the Dominion one step closer to control over the Alpha Quadrant.
Back then, I was first officer on the Intrepid. I'd served aboard for the whole war, and we lived through a lot. The Intrepid class was cutting edge. For her size, she was damn powerful and quick. Despite that size though, they weren't quick to build. Lots of interconnectivity and specialist systems. What I'm trying to say is, once the war started, Intrepid was called upon a lot, mostly for long-range scout missions or border activities.
While there were only a few Intrepid-class starships in service at the time, the Intrepid herself did the lion's share of the work. Her crew proved the class was a force to be reckoned with in a very short amount of time.
The day started like any other. Wait for orders, hope we're not thrown into the firing line. I wasn't expecting the orders we got.
Word had come in from Starfleet intelligence. The Dominion were holding a group of surviving Maquis at Velsac II, 7 light years across the Cardassian border.
At that point, the Maquis were all but wiped out. They didn't deserve that. The mission was offered to several ships, but I argued Intrepid's case. I knew some of the people reported to be alive, and I knew they'd trust me.
Velsac II, while being an average planetary system on paper, was home to a gas giant of unusual properties.
I've had a fascination with temporal mechanics for years now. I even wrote a paper on it. You can probably find it buried somewhere in Daystrom's archives. Anyway, this gas giant was actually something I'd been looking for in my research. Just the right size and gravity profile. I couldn't help myself. I had the computer running simulations en route. When we actually arrived at Velsac II, it was clear something was wrong.
There are no life signs anywhere in the system.
The report said the third planet. We had exact coordinates.
Nothing there. Nothing anywhere.
We crossed the border for nothing.
Incoming warp signatures.
Shields up!
The Dominion are remembered for their large fleets, but even a small group of ships could be deadly.
It was an ambush. Honestly, someone in Starfleet should have seen it coming. Maybe they did, but didn't think it was worth telling us. Either way, we were deep in Cardassian space, facing a squadron of Dominion ships.
Dominion strike craft were known for their ruthless efficiency in battle. Their tactics often showed the Jem'Hadar's lack of self-preservation. Kamikaze attacks were commonplace if they were tactically advantageous.
They dropped out of warp and went right for our nacelles. They wanted us there. And with that first barrage, we lost most of our warp power. I'd only been given the big seat a few times at this point. At that moment, all I could think was, I didn't want to let Captain Emick down. And save the ship, of course.
The Dominion had lost several engagements to the Intrepid class up to this point. Their strategy changed as soon as they saw Intrepid herself. The new bioneural gel packs, which they'd been unable to steal so far, were their new goal.
So there I was. Our avenue of escape was gone and shields were down to 60%. 3 Dominion bug ships, that's not good odds most days. But as the one in the center seat, it was my problem to fix. Evasive maneuvers, Kirk Epsilon. 5 phases on each ship in turn. Get their shield strength down. In that moment I had a plan. It was a crazy one, but I couldn't play it safe. I think it was pretty creative. My helm officer wasn't so keen. My chief engineer, less so. But it was a real shot. I had to take it.
Captain Hunter's plan had never been tried before, and has never been successfully repeated since. The odds of success were astronomical.
I actually didn't want to know the odds. I knew it was theoretically possible, and I knew I could feel my way through the rest. My plan was time travel. Sort of. Well, not really. More of a time jump. Not even that. Maybe a time skip. Set a course for the gas giant, maximum impulse. How much warp power do we have?
Warp 2.5.
Can you push it to warp 3?
Not for long.
I don't need long. I had Helm do the trajectory, Science do the temporal math. It was my job to decide the exact course.
There have long been rumours of starships using the gravity of large celestial bodies to travel in time. While there are no official reports of any Starfleet vessels attempting this, previous interviews have implied this may have already happened. The Daystrom Institute's statement remains that this is an untested theory and should not be attempted.
I'd heard the rumours, and my own research showed it was possible. The Dominion were right on our tail the whole time. We kept firing pot shots to weaken their shields. We needed them to be confident enough to follow us in. This was an all-or-nothing kind of plan. As the gas giant filled the view screen, I did feel a bit of uncertainty. To try something so radical. But the Dominion weren't your average foe. My gut was sure. My head, not so much. Power to warp engines. I've sent my final course to your helm. On my mark, warp 3, 10-second jump. When I say go, hit it. 3, 2, 1, engage. Report.
We've dropped out 500,000 kilometres from our last position. 30 seconds in the past.
30 seconds, aye. We used the gas giant's gravity to travel 30 seconds into the past. It could have been anything from 5 seconds to 5 minutes in theory. But 30 seconds was enough.
In the Daystrom Institute, professors are discussing the various uses of micro-time travel jumps. Annika Hansen, otherwise known as 7 of 9, from Voyager, has spoken to uses of time travel in protecting the timeline. Others have spoken about the possibility of time jumps of mere seconds to fix single mistakes.
I'll be honest, those seconds in time warp felt like an eternity. My mind went to my parents, my friends from the academy, my crew on Intrepid. For those seconds, I thought about what it meant to lose it all. I almost came to peace with it. Almost. And just like that, I was faced again with a gas giant, the Dominion ships, and the us about to jump to warp. I knew this was our only do-over, so I gave my next order. Torpedoes, full spread. We'll look like a sensor echo until the other Intrepid warps away. Fire as they jump. Don't give the Jem'Hadar time to react. I don't like giving orders like that. We were at war, but it never feels right. Fire! And that was it. We were safe for the moment. At Warp 3 though, it'd take months to reach Federation space. We knew Starfleet had a ship on standby, so we sent a distress call and set a course out of Cardassian space. We'd gotten through one big hurdle, but then we were all asking the question, who would find us first? Luckily, Captain Sisko stayed close to the border and travelled with us until we got back over. No other Dominion ships attacked. I think seeing the Defiant made them think twice. I'd also like to point out here that Intrepid achieved something really special at Velsac II. I was half expecting it to be called the Hunter Maneuver, but I guess somebody else felt differently.
While the mission goals had been a failure, in this volatile time of Starfleet history, the fact a captain and their crew returned home safe was all the victory Starfleet needed.
I know it's been a few years, but I still wake up sometimes and wonder whether Dominion will strike that day. We all got used to seeing the casualty reports. You don't just get over that. But having gone through it all, I can say with total certainty, I value the work I do now. I joined Starfleet for a reason, and for those of us who got to go back to that, I'm thankful.
Engagements like this were common throughout the war. The Intrepid was one of the lucky ones to make it back. Their story is one to remember, as are those that did not return. This has been a Memory Alpha documentary, and we want to thank Captain Hunter for sharing this story.